All right, everybody, welcome. Who's everybody?
Is everybody that's watching?
Hello, and welcome to the Jarick and Dan Show. My name is Dan Fitzgerald. I'm Chief Heartbreaker and founder of Heartbreak Hill Running Company. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Jarick Walker.
Jarick Walker, Jarick Walker, whichever you prefer. It's 2017. We're doing things different here. I'm also a coach here at Heartbreak Studio. Once upon a time, was the coach with the biggest thighs, but since I've been training for this marathon, I don't think it's the same anymore.
I think you still got that. I think it's Coach Sid now.
Yeah, Sid might have the biggest thighs.
Right.
Nothing wrong with having big thighs. Just make sure you have the body glide.
Body glide. Mm-hmm. This week we have a special guest, Amanda Nurse, Heartbreak Studio coach and former charity runner turned elite runner, and she'll share a little bit about her story. We'll welcome Amanda Nurse.
All right, yeah, Amanda.
Thanks for making it all the way over to the Jarick and Dan Show studios, Studio 7B here
Thanks
in
for
Cambridge.
having me.
Did you find parking okay?
I walked.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
You walked?
Yeah.
You didn't run?
No, I'm gonna run home.
She always runs.
That's fair.
We just want to talk to these guys a little bit about their story, how they got here. So let's start with Jarick here. Jarick, you recently had a trip to LA.
Yes.
And ran a 13-miler. You followed that up, I think, this weekend with a 14-miler. Is there anything you're learning about yourself as you go longer than you ever have in your life?
Yes. So that first 13, well, I was actually talking to Amanda about it earlier, is a lot of salt came off my face, and I always thought I was more sugary, and so to see the salt come off my face was different. I was like, okay, I needed something.
It's a disappointment.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize I was so salty as a human being. And it was interesting because the 13-miler versus my 14-miler, well, I definitely approached them differently. I was a lot more confident going into 14, having already done 13. But the music selection was very different. The 13-miler was, I was like, let's go not angry hip-hop, thug-like. Let's get out here and just handle these streets. And the second time around, it was just all R&B, just happy love music. And I was like at mile like 8 or 9, I was just singing. And it was about 1 a.m, so there wasn't a lot of people. I had to keep my singing a little low just because I didn't want to wake people up. But I was just happily singing and kind of trotting along. Didn't even realize how far I had gone until I looked at my watch. So from now on, all long runs will be coupled with slow jams.
Slow jams.
Yeah, preferably from the 90s.
All right, I like that. I like that. So Amanda, you have a pretty unique history, I think, in the sense that you started your marathon journey with the Dana-Farber team, and that was in 2010, correct? That was your first marathon.
2010.
You've since run 14 marathons, Boston 6 times, or this is your 6th?
This will be my 6th Boston.
So this will be your sixth Boston, 14 marathons in the bag. Is there a difference between elite Amanda and charity runner Amanda?
To be honest,
Sound effects?
I think some people might say that there's a difference for sure. I mean, I definitely changed my lifestyle completely. I'm a fitness instructor now, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I love marathon running, and I just think I'm such a passionate person about running now. Running for me used to just be kind of the way that I would clear my mind. I'd go for like 3 to 6 miles. And so for my first marathon go around, I went to a couple track practices, didn't really love it, did a lot of my training on my own, did some of the long runs with a group, but was tending to be a little bit slower than I probably could have been going. And so now I really know what I'm shooting for, and so I have really paces in mind and workouts in mind, and so yeah, I'm more dedicated.
More dedicated, okay. And you ran, just a little PR history, your first Boston, first marathon ever was, what did you run that in?
I ran a 3:26 my first marathon.
That's a BQ.
Yeah.
BQ right out of the gates, first ever.
Yeah.
From the charity wave also.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people say that, but I had to run 3:40. At the time it was 3:40,
Right.
Now it's 3:35. Back in the day. Actually, I think it helped me because I was a pretty inexperienced runner at the time. I had only done 1 half marathon. That was the longest distance I had done. I think I did 1 20-mile run before that. And so starting back in the pack, I had to really slow down for the first few miles. People just told me not to jump around in the wave and just kind of stick where I was. So my first couple miles were probably in the 9s, and then after that it opened up and I felt really good. So after all those downhills of the Boston Marathon, you start to hit some of the flats and some of the rolling parts, and that's where a lot of people end up kind of falling apart because they've gone out way too fast in the beginning. So slow down at the beginning.
Good tips right
So
there.
that's, if you're not familiar with Boston, it's around a 36,000 person race or so. And when you're starting the charity wave, you have all abilities back there, largely non-qualifiers. And then if you're someone who's aspiring for qualification from that field in the charity wave, it can be really hard. So Amanda's talking about weaving around all those runners trying to get up to your pace, and it's wise to sit back and sort of just take advantage of the easier pace and then accelerate out. You've since run a 240. How did 240 feel compared to 326?
Well, I really wanted to enjoy my first marathon, so just feeling like Boston, for me, Boston will always be the best race in the whole world. I thought finishing Boston, I knew I had to keep doing more, and I've done a lot of different marathons, and Boston's still my favorite. I ran my 240 at the California International Marathon, which is an amazing race as well. It's out in Sacramento, and I knew going out there that I was with about 90 other women that were all trying for an Olympic trials qualifying time. So there was a lot of pressure. I was really nervous. I wasn't considered an elite at all because I had run a 246 and that wasn't the cutoff for this group. And so I kind of just went for it. I ended up running with a friend who I think she beat me by about 40 seconds or so, and she really helped me through about 6 miles or so, and after that, I was on my own, and I was in front of the group that was being paced for the 245 or 243 cutoff, so I felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ran 240 that day.
Ran 240. Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
Right?
That's great.
And it was 9 weeks after my 246.
Who convinced you that quick turnaround was advisable?
My husband. My husband, Ian Nurse, he's run a 225 multiple times, and I had never even thought to even try for an Olympic trials time, and I thought I was very happy with the 246 in Berlin. And that night he was like, if you've done a 246, you can do a 243. Like, I know you can. You have 9 weeks. Do you want to try? And so I was like, sure. I enlisted the help of our friend and coach, Terry Shea, and 9 weeks later I ran 6 minutes faster.
And you and Ian are both exceptional marathoners, obviously, 225 and 240, but you were also both not track and field athletes in college, which it happens, but it's certainly a lot of people who ran track end up in those faster fields by default. Do you think there's something maybe unique to your athletic history? Like you and Ian played soccer in college, I think, right?
He played lacrosse as well.
Oh, and he played lacrosse too, and you played lacrosse in college. Do you think there's some benefit gained in your cases that you're able to apply in the marathon that gives you an advantage over these track and field people?
Well, it's interesting. For lacrosse players specifically, if you're a midfielder, which we both were, they say you average about 9 miles a game. And you don't really think about it in the game because you're just so caught up in everything that's going on. You're passing, you're just going back and forth the whole time. But we were getting all those miles in each time. So we were kind of always having that distance background, but we also, we're doing things like the weightlifting, the strength training, all of the other things that could really help us as marathon runners. And I was a figure skater growing up, and I've always had big quads, big glutes. I have big legs, and that helps. I'm just saying, it helps.
A strong marathoner, a strong runner is a strong person. On the average side, you're far ahead of average. But when you look at the elite runners and how skinny they are, I think
you're right.
For like a normal person who runs exceptionally fast, often like having some muscle is definitely a strength, obviously.
Yeah.
Jarick, I thought you had a funny comment about your 14-miler was easier than your 13-miler, and I find the hardest marathon training run that I ever did was my first time running 15. It made me say as a half-miler, like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
This sucks. And I use that experience to inform my athletes a lot when I'm coaching the charity runners and just say, look, a bad run is just a bad run. It's not the end of the world, and it's making you stronger for future runs. So I'm glad you experienced that.
No, that's like absolutely what it was. Because like the 13 had to stop. I was like looking around like, somebody help me.
It's kind of brave that you did that out in LA. We may not have known where you're going.
Seriously,
just go 13.
All by myself. I didn't even bring my ID on me, which was silly. But Yeah.
You ran through rattlesnake pastures.
Yeah, rattlesnake pastures, puddles.
Documented
Can
the
check
whole
that
thing.
on
Documented
our
the
Instagram
whole
story.
thing. I dodged a couple of old folks that just seemed to be trotting along. Dodged some hills as well. I found like one hill by accident, and I was like, no, this probably isn't the best right
What
now.
was more dangerous, the old folks or the rattlesnakes? And dodging, which one was harder?
I think the old folks, because I could have tripped over the old folks and fallen into a rattlesnake. And so I think without the old folks, I would have been okay to dodge the rattlesnakes, but I would have had to possibly could have tripped over an old person.
Do you think we should bring in some rattlesnakes for Boston and provide you some extra
Listen,
motivation?
that could help, but so would extra large pizza at the finish line. I think either one will motivate me. Someone told me they're gonna throw glitter at me, so I threw glitter at her last year. She said she's gonna throw glitter at me. I said as long as it doesn't get in my eye, I'm with it.
You also mentioned music selection, that you're listening to some 90s slow jams. Is there anyone you want to give a special shout out to?
Yeah, I've been listening to New Edition a lot. They're from Boston, and I got a lot of pride, being from Boston myself. And their album Heartbreak, what a coincidence!
I like that name.
But that album is phenomenal. There's so many jams on that one, and in particular, Can You Stand the Rain? I think I played about 7 times during my last long run. I just kept replaying it. There's so much deeper meaning. Like, it's about like love and like, can you handle me when things are bad, because everybody likes sunny days, and you can relate it to running too. Long runs are, like you said, long runs aren't always going to be fun.
That's right.
And but you just gotta stay in the rain and get through it, man. And
I think slow jams are good. I get a lot of people saying, I got an email this week from a runner saying, is there anything you suggest I listen to on the long runs? And I find if I listen to something that gets me fired up, I'm fired up and I run too fast. So
exactly.
When I go on a long run now, I always listen to podcasts, just something to like take my brain somewhere else and just kind of relax and get the miles in without having to think so much about it.
But like, what's the podcast of choice?
So I listen to This American Life a lot, or Planet Money, or How I Built This, a series of NPR podcasts that I really like. So, those are my jams. And how was your run today? Also, the guys we had here have a great podcast about running. Runner's World has a great podcast that I like. So
I like that. How about you? What do you listen to?
Honestly, sometimes when I'm running, I don't listen to music a lot when I'm running, but I've been listening to the playlists that I create for my studio classes to kind of ensure that they're like good pump up jams, and like some of them are slow, so that's good because you're during our recovery phases, and then some of them are really pump up songs. So yeah, it's a good mix.
I like that.
Cool. Speaking of jams, we had a segment before with our studio jam of the week, or what we're really loving on the in the studio. If you don't already know, all 3 of us are coaches here at Heartbreak Studios, so that's where you can find us on your own time. We put you through your paces and make you better runners in a room that looks sort of like this. This is our television studio, but we also have a treadmill studio. A few studios in this company.
A couple blocks away.
This is a secret location, so the fans don't overrun us. What's your jam of the week? What are you playing? What are you liking in the studio these days?
I really like the song Capsize. I'm totally spacing on who the artist is. The song is called Capsize. It's awesome. I have been having a couple people now following my Spotify channel, which is kind of fun. So people have been liking the music I'm playing here, which is always good.
I like it.
I told you to do that too. People like your music.
I'm gonna do it.
What are you bumping in the studio these days? What are you liking?
So I just threw on like 10 new songs this week, and one in particular is called Shotgun by Yellow Claw, and it starts off with this really nice voice of this lady. I don't know who the lady is, but it's just like nice and slow, and then it just like starts going, and then you start going, and it's great. I love it. Y'all gotta listen to that one.
I've been bumping Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation.
Oh,
it's like
I'm gonna add that to
that's
mine.
my fire jam right now. I've been loving that one. It's a good political message. It's a good inclusive message, and it's fire. Like seeing the feet and the beat. It's like
the feet and
it's
the
awesome.
beat. I didn't even know you could rap like that.
I took Amanda's class this past week, and she played Girl Talk. What song was that? I forget the name of that one.
It's like part 1.
But that was awesome. That made the class for me. I loved that jam in the studio. Moving on here, we also do 3 awards every week. The Participation Medal, King of the Hill, and then we do the Week's Champion as the Laurel Wreath what the winner of the Boston Marathon gets. Our participation medal this week is really just a shout out to Shalane Flanagan. We're so bummed to see that she's not racing, but she's always an inspiration and such a person to look up to in the way that she sent that message. You could tell it was really heartfelt on her Instagram, and that she's bummed about it. We're bummed about it, but we're also excited that she's going to be able to hopefully see the race, among the fans and be in and around Boston. Huge shout out to Shalane. It's always a hard thing for an elite athlete or any athlete to bow out of what they've been concentrating on for so long. And as anyone in Boston knows, or anyone who's a big fan of Shalane knows, Boston is her race. It's the one she wants to win.
Come cheer me on.
Yeah.
Just if you got glitter, just throw it at me. I'll take it.
Throw it at Jarick.
I'll take it.
And then next up, we have our King of the Hill. So it's been a very exciting first track season for the Heartbreakers, and we had our first ever New England Club champion, Kate Abelseth. She won the 800 meters on Sunday at Harvard, and as a former 800 meter runner, I was super pumped. So hearts and shout outs to Kate Abelseth for knocking out that first club victory in the 800. And our laurel wreath winner, I'll turn it over to Jarick.
So for our laurel wreath winner, laurel wreath, the top honor goes to this New England weather. I can't believe it because there's still snow outside. But it's like 60, 70 degrees out. What's interesting is that you walk outside just because we're all accustomed to wearing jackets and hoods and beanies, and I was sweating so much yesterday because the sun was out. I got my ankles out right now. You can't see. I moisturized them. Don't worry about it. But thank you so much, weather, for doing what you're doing. I ran in a tank top and shorts yesterday.
Yeah.
It might have been 5-inch too. I was letting the thighs out. And look,
Wow.
It
better be warm for that.
It's got to be warm for 5 inches. Just stay like this. We don't have to go back to that cold stuff at all. This is perfect.
That is congratulations, weather. So this marathon season, we also have with Heartbreak a partnership with HOTSHOT. So we've been doing some HOTSHOT sponsored classes within the studio context, different times of the week. So if you check out hotshotclass.eventbrite.com, that's where we release those classes, or it's on our social media. I am Coach Dan Boss, BOS, our airport code. Amanda is?
Amanda runs Boston.
And Jarick is?
At Jarick Walker.
So there's some stuff you can find there, but we wanted to do a little hot shot tasting. These two haven't tried it before. There was a Harvard neuroscientist who was, I think he was out kayaking or something, and he had a cramp, and as ridiculously smart people are sometimes want to do, they solve these sorts of problems where I might just say my leg's cramped and I'm going to stop and chill out. He developed this beverage, looked more into how cramps affect the body, or what the purpose might be, and they found that there was no actual physiological purpose behind it. It was just a reaction within the nervous system. So what this beverage does is it's not like other dietary supplements that an athlete might take, in the sense that it digests, and then in its digestive process it affects your body. This works with your nervous system, and you'll feel it kind of burning down. It's very spicy, and its technology is actually it's spice. So it's a really unique product that has been proven. The guy's a Nobel Prize winning scientist. So it's a heavily scientifically backed, really unique product that we're excited to partner with. It's actually one of Shalane's secret weapons. She takes it before a race. She feels like it helps her mentally focus. Jarick, if you were going to market HOTSHOT, what might you bring to the table?
I think I would do like a slogan. Maybe even a jingle. I think I got something. Sports beverage with a kick. Okay. I went for a run today, and I was feeling crampy. Man, I was so happy I had some HOTSHOT handy. It's a sports beverage with a kick. It's a sports beverage with a kick. It's always my number one pick. HOTSHOT.
Nice.
So let's give it a shot.
All right. Give it a shot. That was good too, didn't it?
Right? It's Friday. It's time to do shots.
So you
guys.
just like shot it up.
So you just
Cheers.
toast
Yeah,
it?
cheers.
All right. Salud.
That's good.
It's good.
I like it.
Oh, wow.
You feel the burn?
Yeah.
It tastes like.
It's like cinnamon.
Spicy.
It is a sports beverage with a kick. It's like, I feel like the kick just went straight to my right eye. Am I tearing up? No, I'm okay.
You feel that?
We need your jingle.
Wow!
Right?
Whoa! Damn! This is just. I feel it in my left arm. This is great. Whoa! What? This is real, huh?
Yeah, that's
Dang.
crazy, right?
Wow.
So HOTSHOT will be on the marathon course with us a couple times. They'll be at the longest long run. Like I said, you can check the HOTSHOT sponsored class. It's a free class to the public. 20 spots a week, so you can check that out at hotshotclass.eventbrite.com. Jarick, as now having tasted it, is there a different way you might market it? Or?
I almost want to sing. Hot shot, it makes you feel so good. Hot shot, I wish a man would. Hot shot, get your hot shot. I'm sorry. Wow, this is like, I really feel, I feel good.
It makes you feel like
feel good.
it wakes you up for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely,
I'm
sort of. That's HOTSHOT. That's the story. Is there a tip of the week? Maybe we should. Do you want to give a tip of the week too?
Sure.
You need time to think about your tip?
Yeah.
All right,
All right, Jarick, what's your tip of the week?
Here's my tip of the week. This was, whenever you're running long distances, you have a lot of time to reflect. And what I noticed is that if you close your eyes when you're tired throughout a run, you feel better. You really kind of just
Get that asterisk.
and so whenever you're tired out there, whether it's a marathon or ultra, just close your eyes and the energy will come right back to you. Preferably don't do it on sidewalks because you may or may not fall, but
All right, thank you for that tip of the week, Jarick. I'll try closing my eyes for a bit in my next run.
I'm always happy to share.
Just for a second at a time.
Amanda, what do you got? What do you got for your tip of the week?
So we're 8 weeks out from the Boston Marathon. So if you are running Boston and you have not tried out your nutrition, this is a really great time to make sure you are kind of getting that down. So if you haven't tried out exactly what you want to have the morning of the race, try that now. Maybe this weekend is a good first time to do it.
Absolutely.
You really only have 7 times to try it for the next few weekends. So we want to really make sure that we've got that down. Same thing with what you'll be taking for nutrition during the race itself. So try out your certain goos. That we have so many flavors here at Heartbreak. You could try out every single flavor, see which one works for you. There's only one that works for me, so I really had to try out a whole bunch of them. Kiwi Roctane, Goo Roctane. So good.
There you have it. Amanda Nurse runs on Kiwi Roctane.
I guess it's strawberry kiwi. So
Strawberry
good.
Kiwi Roctane.
Sounds delicious.
That's a good tip. That does not require an asterisk.
So
Thank you for that.
So she doesn't get asked her. No. It's her first time. This is crazy.
But I've run 14 marathons.
Yeah, but this is your first time on the show.
That's fair, and that is the finish line of the Jarick and Dan show. We can spike these like old times, like in your ball days. Remember that?
Listen, I'm gonna spike it without you guys, because clearly you guys are gonna do your own show. Because I get an asterisk, she don't get an asterisk.
That's the Jarick and Dan show. We'll see you next week.